I went in with hope. I had hope. I had hope. I had hope. Hey everybody, and thanks for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. So last night I went out to check out the newest in the X-Men films, Dark Phoenix. So I thought I'd jump on camera and give my thoughts and opinions about it. If you'd like to talk about this movie with me, I welcome you to do so, and I'd love for you to do so. Just comment all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, and let's get a fun conversation going. And with all that out of the way, let's talk about Dark Phoenix. So Dark Phoenix is the 12th film in the X-Men Fox series, including the Deadpool films, and was written and directed by Simon Kinberg. When a space mission goes wrong, the Dark Phoenix is released in Jean Grey, played by Sophie Turner, and it's up to her friends in the X-Men to save Jean from the evil that is inside her. So this movie is actually Simon Kinberg's directorial debut, and unfortunately, I did not like this movie very much. So first I'll preface this review by saying that I've never actually read the X-Men Dark Phoenix comic series. I don't know anything about the comic. All I know about Dark Phoenix is what I saw in X-Men The Last Stand. So I went into this movie not knowing anything about the story, not knowing anything about what this series of comics was like. I just went in wanting a good, entertaining movie. What I thought I was going to get was Jean Grey's Dark Phoenix versus the X-Men. And I hope the comic is much better than the story that this movie told. What I will say is that the movie actually started off, I thought, okay. I was kind of intrigued with where they were going with it. I thought it had an okay setup, but once the X-Men got back from the space mission, this movie just went downhill for me. This movie, in one word, was just boring. This movie was so boring. Oh my goodness, this movie was boring. It's amazing how much I didn't care about a lot in this movie. So first, let's talk about the performances. I actually thought all of the performances were quite good. The actors really committed to the script, which is saying something because a lot of the dialogue in the script I actually didn't think was that great either. Not only can the dialogue be a little cringy at times, it also has a lot of cliches in it. But to give these actors credit, they all committed to the dialogue, they all committed to the script, and they gave the best performances I think they could have given. Now, going from the performances to the characters, I didn't care about anyone in this movie. I don't think that the X-Men First Class characters have been set up that well throughout their movies. I mean, can you honestly tell me that you care about Cyclops? And that's kind of the big problem that I had with this movie. I didn't care about any of these characters. I wasn't invested in these characters. And that's a really unfortunate situation with Sophie Turner's Jean Grey. Because Jean Grey is the focus of the movie. You're supposed to feel really bad for her character. And I just didn't care. I didn't really know her character. I wasn't invested in her character. Sophie Turner does a really good job as the character in her performances. I just didn't find the character compelling. I didn't find Jean Grey very interesting. And the Dark Phoenix aspect of it, like I said, I've never read the comic. I still don't fully understand what the heck the Dark Phoenix is after watching this movie. The movie kind of hints that it might be a split personality, but it never goes deep enough or really dives into that idea or aspect for it to really be defined as a split personality. She gets hit by some radioactive space mist, and then she's just bad sometimes. Even characters that I did like Charles Xavier, played by James McAvoy, were kind of written to be really unlikable in this. I didn't like his character. I found his character to be very unlikable in this movie. And Michael Fassbender as Magneto is completely wasted in this movie. He's not really that important to the story. He kind of felt like he was just there because the actor had a contract to fill. Kind of really disappointed to see Michael Fassbender as Magneto in this movie because he's actually been one of the characters that I've really liked from First Class and Apocalypse. But I just felt like his character and Michael Fassbender himself was just kind of wasted in this movie. And oh my goodness, let's talk about the villains in this movie. Sing me a lullaby and put me to sleep. These villains were awful. The face of these villains is played by Jessica Chastain, who, good actress, her performance put me to sleep in this movie. I thought she was so boring. I thought the villains alone in this movie were boring. I thought they didn't have anything compelling to them. They felt completely unnecessary in this story. They weren't needed. It makes for a very hollow conflict when you get the X-Men versus these villains. These villains were bland. They were boring. I didn't care about any of them. They have to be the worst villains that this Fox X-Men series has ever had. I didn't give a crap about the conflict in this movie with those villains at all. And I found the narrative and the pacing of this movie to be really bad too. I thought it was just so slow. Characters constantly just stand around and talk about things, and it's all exposition. And even after all these characters talking and explaining stuff, I still don't understand everything that happened in this movie. And a lot of the dialogue is just Jean, 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 Jean. And for the most part, it's all stuff that we know about Jean. They don't really reveal anything new or revolutionary to the story. It's all kind of stuff that we already know. And even from an action standpoint, this movie had very little action in it. And the action in it, I wouldn't say was that great either. I'd say it was kind of competent action. Like I said, a lot of the conflicts in this movie are very hollow. I don't really care when characters are fighting. Sometimes it was edited really choppy to me. I didn't fully understand or follow what was going on a lot of the times. There were some cool concepts and ideas within the action, but it wasn't enough to make the action really that exciting for me. I didn't find the action very compelling at all in this movie, and that was kind of disappointing because even with the action sequences, I was a little bored because there was nothing for me to get invested in. There was really no conflict that I was invested in. And there was also some weird shots in this movie, a lot of close-up of people's faces, a lot of zooms in on people. It didn't really work for me. I wasn't a big fan of the style and directing that Simon Kinberg added to this movie, unfortunately. And I know it's his first movie, and I feel really bad talking about the movie like this, because I'm sure the guy put his heart and soul into this movie. He's been with the X-Men franchise for a while now with Fox, and this is his first directorial debut, and I really did not like this movie very much at all. But like I said, there were a couple things I liked. I thought the acting was pretty good for the most part. There were a couple moments that I liked during the action sequences where I was like, boring, 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 boring. Oh, that's cool. Boring, 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 boring. Oh, that was neat. Boring, 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 boring. I think what it comes down to is this story and the narrative was not compelling. It was just boring. This movie just bored me. What I thought I was going to get in this movie, what I thought the trailers were offering me, was Jean Grey goes bad, the X-Men are trying to bring her back, and it's Jean Grey versus her old friends in the X-Men. They really treat the story like a melodrama. It's just a lot of talking, there's very little action, and I found a lot of it very boring, and the pacing was so slow, it made it even worse. This movie was under 2 hours long. I felt like it was 2.5. And in the end, guys, X-Men Dark Phoenix was a big miss for me. I didn't like this movie very much at all. Which is unfortunate because it's the last movie apparently that is in this Fox X-Men universe, because Disney has now bought Fox and they're kind of scrapping this universe. So this is the last film from this Fox X-Men universe. And unfortunately for me, I didn't feel like it stuck to landing, and I didn't feel like this series went out very well. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say about X-Men Dark Phoenix. But what did you think about X-Men Dark Phoenix? Maybe I missed something. Maybe I haven't read the comic, and maybe this captured the comic perfectly and you loved it. You have been invested in these X-Men characters more than I have, and you felt that the conflict was very compelling. Comment down below and let me know. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions about this movie. Guys, thanks again for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. And once again, my name's Zachary Milne. Thank you for talking movies with me, and hope you have yourself a great day.